han salido de sus casas. Primero, les quiero asegurar algo, no se van a arrepentir. Prepárense para este emocionante viaje. Justo cuando venía manejando al cine, venía meditando en el talento y en el privilegio y en lo complicado a la vez que es el ser auténtico y original, como es el cine de San Raimi. Creo que se encuentra en la mejor de sus formas. Van a ver esta película. El mundo parece que está enloqueciendo viendo las noticias y de repente, no sé si ustedes están de acuerdo conmigo, estos primeros días del año hemos visto grandes películas y esta, Ayuda, no es la excepción. A partir del próximo 29 de enero, y de verdad les recomiendo que la experiencia, por supuesto, sea en una sala de cine. Espero que todos tengan su kit de supervivencia ya, está ahí en su asiento. Viene un cuestionario que de verdad, entre amigos, les digo, llénenlo, porque nunca sabemos si nos vamos a encontrar en la situación que nuestros protagonistas, por ahí hay gomitas también, por supuesto que hay sangre para que le pongan a sus palomitas. Nadie le tira sangre a los actores como el señor Sam Raimi, la verdad.
Cierto.
Es un realizador quien ha creado un estilo a partir de un juego de géneros desde hace muchos años y que ha mantenido, y lo hace de una forma magistral. De repente ir a la comedia, ir al terror, incluso a las situaciones románticas, nadie lo hace como él. Les quiero presentar aquí en la Ciudad de México a la leyenda, el señor Sam Raimi.
¿Dónde está? I love you, Sam!
Sam, welcome to Mexico City. Here in the middle, it's perfect. Nice to see you again. Y nos acompaña también, tenemos el privilegio de que esté con nosotros la productora de esta película, Zainab Azizi. Fuerte aplauso porque ayer fue su cumpleaños. Bienvenida a México, Zainab. Happy birthday. There's no better place to spend birthday like in Mexico City. Welcome, guys, to our session. La idea, amigos, es que esto sea muy dinámico. Vamos a hacer unas pequeñas preguntas acá con respecto a la película y, por supuesto, va a haber oportunidad para que ustedes pregunten. Por ahí hay un par de amigos, de compañeros que nos van a ayudar con los micrófonos. Mientras tanto, pues voy a tratar de abrir esta conversación. Thank you much. What an honor to have you in this premiere here in our city. We love our cinema, I told you in the interview in Los Angeles, and we are very excited to see this one.
Muchas gracias. Buenas tardes, mis amigos. Muchas gracias.
Bueno, let's go to the beginning. Vamos al principio. What did you find on the script, on the original script, that makes you decide I'm going to do this movie? I know you persuade the script from the first time to the end. And, did you work on the script after you bought the rights of it? And did you make changes during the process of it? Tell us about it.
Well, Zainab is the one that heard this pitch from these two great writers, Shannon and Swift, and she came to me and said, we've got to make this movie. So the two writers came by with Zainab, and they did the pitch again, and I thought it was just a great story. Great characters, great dynamics as they face off against one another. And I love that there was challenges with the antagonist becoming the protagonist and the protagonist switching places with him. So I love the challenge of that. Can we make the audience identify with this character and this underdog and follow her journey and then hate the man that abused her? And then can we switch it around on the audience? So that was one of the big challenges that was very appealing to me when Zainab and the writers pitched the script to me.
Zainab, let's talk about the logistics of the film. Because when I saw it, I was thinking this is not a difficult task to do. Location, it's Thailand and Australia. Tell us about the experience of filming.
Well, the island itself is a character, so we really wanted a beautiful place where audience members can go and escape in the theater. We wanted the beautiful blue ocean and the white sand, so we shot all the island in Phuket, Thailand, And then we shot a lot of the stage work, offices, and the apartment in Sydney, Australia.
I have to confess something. I will never going to forget when I saw Darkman on the cinema for the first time when I was younger. How do you make these changes from humor to drama to romance? Is that something that it's on the paper, on the script, or it's something that you change during the filming of your movies?
All of those elements were in the screenplay. And then the great production people and Zainab and my production designer Ian Gracie and JJ Hook, our producer, they all helped us push them to the extremes, because I really wanted to see how much we could play with the audience's identification and really give them an unexpected journey. So the ideas were running fast and furious on the set, and as quick as they would come, we would try and put them in if they were good. And with this team, they were good. It's really important to surround yourself with super talented professionals, whatever you do, whatever industry you're in. I'm in the movie business, so I need a great director of photography like Bill Pope, a great editor to say, that's not as good as you think it is, Sam. We're gonna cut that out. And a great composer like Danny Elfman, who I've worked with in many movies, he's great. And he's not only a writer of music, but he's an orchestrator of the movie. He understands, after the spotting session where your director and producers sit with the composer, he understands the story I'm trying to tell, but then he understands it deeper somehow, and he's able to push it and help the audience feel what it is that the movie's trying to tell. So he's really a storyteller and a great composer. And he's taught me so much about making movies. I remember when I was working on Darkman with him, and this is our first collaboration, I said in the spotting session, Danny, I think now the Darkman is very heartbroken in this moment, and I'd love you to come in right here when he lowers his head. And Danny said, no, I'm not coming in there. I said, why? He said, I don't want to push the audience. I want them to feel the Darkman's pain, feel it, and then I'll come in to carry them even further. And I thought, oh, that's a storyteller who understands film. On the next picture we worked together, I was kind of pissed because he knew so much. So next time we worked together was on, I think, maybe Spider-Man 1. Thanks, guys. And I remember in the spotting session, I would say to him, Danny, here Peter Parker's heart is broken. And I don't want you to come in now. I want you to wait and let him feel it, then come in. And he said, no. He said, I'm gonna wait and wait, let him feel it, I'll hold a beat, and when the camera starts to move, I bring in the strings. And I went, oh my God, this guy's so great. He is a filmmaker, a storyteller, and a great artist. And I owe so much to him, the movie does.
Fantastic. ¿Listos, chicos, para las preguntas? Creo que ya hay. ¿Quién tiene el... Perdónenme que no vemos absolutamente nada aquí. ¿Quién tiene el micrófono? Hay fans, there's press here on the auditorium. I think it's over there. En lo que le dan el micrófono. Regarding the next question, Sam, in your position, how difficult or easy it's to assemble a good team producing a movie? Because I think it's the most collaborative experience of all, if you ask me. How hard it's to get the best ones to do a movie.
I mean, it takes a village to make a film, and
exactly.
It's an army, and with Sam, we wanted to make sure he had the best of the best, so we hired his go-to collaborators, his cinematographer Bill Pope, his editor Bob Morowski, his composer Danny Elfman, his first AD Eric Efron. So we surrounded him by the complete best, and so he was comfortable and confident with the team.
Perfecto. Ahora sí, ya tenemos, Rocío me está indicando quién tiene la primera pregunta, compañero, compañera.
Eduardo Gutiérrez.
Bienvenido, Eduardo.
Gracias. Hello, how are you? Welcome to Mexico again.
Gracias.
I would like to know, how do you feel going back to the terror, you know, after so many years of not doing it? Do you have the chance to put some demons that you have in your mind in this film? And I would like to know also if you have someone that you want to get revenge. I mean, not a boss, but anyone, if you have someone. Thank you very much.
Well, I've got you in mind right now. No, I don't seek revenge against anyone. I'm an entertainer and I want to bring about laughter and mirth, and I want to scare the audience and have them have a rip-roaring good time. So I don't really have a desire to harm anyone or I've not been wronged in any way that I have a desire for revenge. But I like the drama of it, and I like the drama of it in the story and understand the motivation. And it helps me tell the story understanding that this is a bit of a story of revenge. Not completely, but it is an element in all of the characters' actions.
Próxima pregunta, ¿ya estamos listos? El compañero está listo.
Hello, Mr. Raimi, how are you doing? My name is Cesar, nice to meet you, and welcome to Mexico once again. And congratulations on your new movie, I cannot wait to see it. My question is, what would you consider that was the toughest mental challenge you faced while filming it?
Getting down the stairs to the beach was not something I look forward to. But the biggest challenge was in pulling together all of the tones that you're going to see in the movie, from horror to comedy to a little bit of drama, a little bit of romance, and making them work together as a whole. But part of it was my desire to give the audience the unexpected, moment by moment by moment. And so
your writing and your directing and everything, you've inspired me to take on a career on filmmaking. So I'd like to get some advice from a master like you on what I could learn, like what you have learned in your filmmaking process, like from your first movies like Evil Dead to this.
Well, thank you for the question. The best lessons as a filmmaker are those taught to yourself through experience. So I would recommend that the young filmmaker every week sit down and write a script. Now, I don't mean a whole page. I just mean 3 sentences. Something that will be small enough that you can't not do it. 3 sentences, a beginning, middle, and end. And perhaps the first sentence is, woman walks into a store. That's it. The second sentence is, store owner starts to greet the woman, then slugs her across the face and she goes flying outside. Third sentence, she lands on the pavement and now we see she held a gun. She was a bank robber, a store robber. She runs off. 3 sentences. It's not a great story, but it has a beginning, middle, and end. And I recommend that every filmmaker write their own 3 sentences. And the next week, shoot 3 shots, no more than that. Because it's easy to build plans for a castle that you can never make. It's important to make it really doable. I can shoot 3 shots. That's not that much. So shoot those shots, cut it together, put sound on it, show it to your friends and family, and see what happens. They may say, we didn't like the ending. Why didn't you like the ending? Well, why would that person slug her? Well, she was robbing the place. Didn't you see that gun? No. Is that the thing that fell to the sidewalk? So now you know, go back, get a close-up of that gun. It's the 3rd shot when she lands on the pavement, move in a little bit and see that gun. Then come up to her face. You got 1 shot to do it in. And you show that movie, you reshoot it now with what you've learned. That 3rd shot needs to be fixed. And now let's also put a clattering sound effect for the gun drop because they didn't notice it last time. And you show the movie again, and they liked it a little better. They didn't like it too much, but they liked it a little better. And you do that every week, and you'll be a filmmaker, and no one can take that from you if you keep it manageable and controllable. I would not recommend going to Hollywood or Mexico City studios and say, I want a job. They won't give it to you. They're too busy with their own work. You just make yourself a filmmaker, and then they'll come calling to you.
Fantástico. Tienen que ver a la pareja protagónica, queridos amigos, ahora que esté la función. The actors, the chemistry between the actors, it's fantastic. Of course, we know you work with Rachel in Doctor Strange, but my question, it's how important it is the casting on a movie, first of all, and then is it something that you can arrange and you can change during the shooting of a scene? Or it's something that the actors has to have, you know what I mean? How do you resolve that problem in casting?
Well, Zainab was right up front there with the casting. I wanted Rachel McAdams, as you say, because we worked together on Doctor Strange 2. And she was so great. No one knows how good she was because she played a role she had created in the first one. But she also created a multiversal version of that character. So that multiversal version of the character had slightly different things in her history. And I saw on set how Rachel would tweak her performance in the slightest way to reflect that history that she had. And I was really thrilled with her performance. Then in a rewrite, we had to do a third version of the multiverse. So then I saw her create this third version of the character with subtle changes again reflected in her backstory. And I really thought, she's like a fine violin. She can play any note, hit any note. She was like, she hit a middle C, then we asked her to play it an octave up and she hit it. Then all of a sudden, this third version, she hit the top octave and she was perfectly in tune, and I want to work with this actress again.
Zainab, how important it is to see this movie on the big screen? Seems like a luxury, but it has to be seen on the cinema, you know?
It has to be. I mean, look at this. Look around you. You know, there's nothing like being in a dark room, eating popcorn with strangers and feeling every emotion. Fear, comedy, you're laughing, you're hiding your eyes, you're jumping, you're screaming. You have to experience it with a group. Nothing like it.
¿Alguna otra pregunta? ¿Algún fan? ¿Algún compañero, colega de la prensa? Allá está mi querida Chio, que es a quien veo. Ajá, ¿sí?
Hi, yeah, so I wanted to ask about the island, because I understand that the premise is quite relatable in the sense of like everyone has had an incompetent boss. And I wanted to know if the island...
Watch it, I was her boss. So when you say everyone has had it...
Has had it in the past, a very, very long past. No, I wanted to know if the island is a metaphor for our everyday life when we're dealing with these bosses, or if it's more like a tool that once you strip the things that give people power, that power means nothing.
Yes, I think it's more of the second. It's the island to me represents just a dramatic device to get these two characters to a place where they are stripped of their power, their roles that are assigned to them, so that they can grow in this unobstructed environment into sometimes a worse version of themselves and sometimes into the best person you could have ever hoped to be. And it's all sorts of things that island offers us. These two characters in the face of loneliness, hardship, beauty. It's really a dramatic device for me, more than anything though.
Le preguntamos de superhéroes a Sandra. What do you think about the superheroes movies right now that are making right now? Superhero movies.
They're great. I love superhero movies. I love them when they stick to the character and they tell a story that is unique to that particular person, and it really resounds. It's not like, oh, there's a bad guy, what's Superman going to do against him? I want to hear the story of this alien, this kid that's been abandoned by its parents, has to grow up in a strange society. I want to see that affect that character. So if the filmmakers, the writers and producers and directors love the character, I'm going to love the movie. I want to see that character doing the best that they can do despite their hardships, seeing them face obstacles and like grow as human beings in a way that only they can do to overcome those obstacles. And I think the audience really likes seeing that kind of thing because they're reminded, yes, I can overcome my obstacles. I can grow a little bit as a human being. I don't have to wear red tights to do it, but I can still become a hero in my own way.
Would you do another one, superhero movie?
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, guys.
¿Alguien tiene una pregunta? Allá veo a alguien bien valiente que se puso de pie. Bienvenido.
Gracias, Esteban Macías. Mr. Raimi, it's a pleasure to have the chance to talk to you just a little bit. So it's inevitable. People in their 30s love Spider-Man, and as soon as you hear the movie and they hear that you're related to it and know you are related to it, it's a scream out loud. But if you could choose only one movie, is it in your past or is it in your future? The only one, the movie that Sam Raimi will be remember forever.
In the future. I gotta hope that the best is yet to come, and my understanding of the craft is growing. So I'm trying to learn and apply what I've learned and trying to become a better listener on set for the great ideas of the cast and crew and apply them into the picture and become more open and a vessel of what the movie could be versus the dictator that I've kind of been in my early years growing up with the Super 8 movies and horror movies.
That's the response we expected, but I want to add a little bit more about what Esteban was saying. Are you aware of your evolution as a director from the beginning nowadays?
Not exactly. I know that there's a small group of people that love like Evil Dead, you know, or Spider-Man, and I really appreciate that. But it's not a giant crowd that at least for my movies, it's usually a smaller, dedicated group that has the same sense of humor and likes the absurd.
Zainab, how hard, what are the challenges to make a movie to be seen on the big screen? Because every studio seems to have products or films exclusively for platforms.
It's very difficult, especially in original film. But my advice would be to just never take no for an answer and keep going.
Perfecto. Tenemos otra pregunta por ahí. ¿Tiene micrófono? El que tenga micrófono. ¿Dónde?
Gabriel Cruz, over here.
Exacto, gracias. Es que no veo nada, chicos. Perdón.
It's okay. So my question is for both of you. I was wondering how was like dealing with in this case with Rachel and Dylan and this process of making the movie, and how do you get to build a character like we're about to see, but like in a way like sorry, how do you involve like a producer and a director? How do you get to that point for the movie? Thank you.
So perhaps I need clarification still. Do you want to know how to direct these characters, or how I came to direct these characters, or more about how it comes to be a producer and a director on a movie?
I think he was talking especially about the characters, about working with the actors, isn't it?
Like, I don't know, like the four of you like sit at a table and talk about the characters and what they need and how much you guys let them get it involved.
Yeah, I think he talks about rehearsals and improvisation during the filming of
sure.
the movie.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How much it is? How much do you permit?
Well, I welcome it. First, it starts with the writers, Shannon and Swift, who created these characters. Perhaps they're not as developed as once we were working on the film with the producer and the director and crew, but they created the characters, and they were good, and the story was solid, and then you bring aboard the actors and you discuss the characters. I mean, I actually first start storyboarding with my technical team, and I envision a shot for each moment of the movie, how I pictured it. Why would the camera be there? What are they feeling right now? So it forces me to go through a lot of thoughts about the characters and their interaction, and therefore what's this scene about? Can I have this drama without the character thinking deeply enough about this subject, or do I have to change the character a bit for this scene to work? So a lot of it is done in pre-production, just trying to make the basic drama work, visually, shot by shot, or working with the production designer, saying, we need to develop an office for Rachel McAdams. What would be in that office? So Zainab and I and the storyboard artists and the prop people trying to describe the character through prop. What would be on her wall? What are her goals? What does she admire? What is her inspiration? So this story, if you can tell it clearly to every department head, they will then help you tell the story and elevate it beyond what you've ever thought. I remember in the Spider-Man movie, I told the set deck people, look, Peter Parker does not have a lot of money, he's owes a lot, I can't have some fancy room. And well, Sam, what does he admire? He admires, well, he's a member of the chess club. He loves chess, and he admires thinkers, great healers. So they developed his room, and they put up a poster of Midville High Chess Club. They figured he'd be in the chess club. Oh, then he's got a bunch of cheesy friends who are also part of the chess club, and it helps me develop it. And then the actors come aboard, and you show them what you've got, and you hear their notes, and that takes it to a whole nother level, because as a director is thinking about every character, or the writers are thinking about every character, and the production design department is thinking about every character, now for the first time you've hired one person to own that character, and all they do is think about that. The poor kids, but that they're stuck with that character. And then you start to get them together, and you see what they've developed, the depth they've put into it, and you see them interact with each other, and you realize, you two are too much on the same page here. We need to change an aspect of your background. So you go back to work with the writer, and they come up with a new scene, or a new element of the character that changes their outlook, so you have a dramatic confrontation. But I've learned recently that it's about listening and incorporating all of the department's ideas, and first explain to them the movie, the story as you know it. You don't have to have a vision. You don't have to have a vision. Just explain to them the meaning of this scene and what the character wants. And that's all you have to have, and slowly it comes into focus who these characters are.
Great. Zainab, was it difficult or easy to have the final cut of this movie? The final cut of the movie. It was easy one after the montage, the edition of it. Did you make changes during the edition of the movie? Or it was pretty close to the script?
Did the finished picture turn out similar to the script?
Exactly.
Yes, but better. But can I go back to the last question?
Sure.
I'd love to talk about Rachel's character. So as you know, Rachel is the most beautiful woman in the world. She's gorgeous. So the character of Linda Little, it took a lot of work for Rachel. Rachel spent months of rehearsals, and we worked closely with our makeup team and our costumes. And when it came to makeup, you know, she's not the most glamorous. She doesn't wear very much makeup. She's always sitting and working so hard. So with costumes, we made sure she looked a little, you know, she had a little bit of padding, and she wasn't wearing the most fanciest clothing or the most expensive designers. And then when on the island, we actually worked with Kai for now, who's a survivalist. So there's so much preparation and so many people when it comes to character development. But it all starts with Rachel. You know, Rachel worked very, very hard. This is a role you've never seen her in, and I'm very, very excited for you to see her play Linda Little.
I think it's one of her best roles ever for Rachel McAdams, is my opinion.
Yes.
Es la última pregunta y es para ustedes, chicos. ¿Hay alguien que quiera hacer el último cuestionamiento, que luego los pongo nerviosos porque les digo eso? ¿Ya alguien tiene el micrófono?
De este lado.
Ah, ya está.
Gracias, Oscar. Zainab, well, congratulations for your work. I admire really what you do. So, how was the approach with Raimi? Did you were thinking about in your own ideas, and he joined to you? How was working together? I'm really wondering about that.
Yes,
Thank you.
so I've been working with Sam for many years now. This is actually our 6th film together, but this is the first where he's a director. When it comes to the story, his DNA is all over the story. When you watch the film, it's a Sam Raimi movie. And in production, my job is to make sure he is happy and he feels confident with the work and the day, and that's my job as a producer, to make sure the director is happy, the actors are taken care of, and the studio is happy. So working with Sam is a dream come true. He's the nicest man ever. So I really hope you guys enjoy this film.
¿Y qué tal la manera de vestir? You're the best well-dressed director I have ever interviewed. The tie, is that an homage for Alfred Hitchcock? True or false?
It's a little true. Can I have that as my answer?
Of course, a little true.
Here's what it is. I used to see these pictures of filmmakers in the desert wearing suits and ties, directing camera teams. And after I made a bunch of Super 8 movies, I thought, how do these guys do this? How are these ladies able to dress up for their movie? It's impossible. And the absurdity of it really rang something in my head. And my father is the other half of it, who said, always dress to the level that shows the person you're meeting with the respect that you hold for them.
Which brings us to the end of this. This is a quote I read from the actor Cliff Robertson. He said this: "We don't hear enough about directors like Sam Raimi, because I guess there aren't many directors who have the benevolence not only among the cast, but also with the crew. So when you see Sam walking carefully and quietly among his cast and crew, you get the feeling of a director who is conscious of his responsibilities, but even more conscious of his sensitivities to the people around him. And that, my friends, is very rare. Thank you very much for being here in Mexico City."
That is so sweet. Thank you guys for having us.
Todavía
We're honored to be here in Mexico City.
nos vamos a tomar una fotografía. Les voy a pedir un favorzote. Encendamos nuestro celular. Es que se ve fregoncísima las fotos de los conciertos. Y yo realmente, esto no estaba en el libreto, pero se ve mucho mejor para que salga mejor y la podamos compartir todos. Let's take the photo. Gracias.